Yes, how should you start research on the White Rose? It is so much fun. First of all, before you do any research, understand that in 2005 a lot of censorship was lifted, so if something was published before 2005, it is likely not up to date. Doesn't necessarily make it inaccurate, but it does make it incomplete. This leaflet is from the White Rose Foundation. They are basically the official memorial organization for the White Rose. I got this in Germany. I don't know if you can get a hard copy anywhere else. But if you look up the White Rose Foundation, it'll come up Weiße Rose Stiftung. They have most of their information online and in English and available to you. If you're like me, you appreciate pictures, and that is why I would highly recommend, especially if you are just starting out, Freiheit, the White Rose graphic novel. This is from Sophie's perspective, but it is like a very detailed and very accurate depiction of the White Rose story from when she enters the scene. Remember, the White Rose, they loved poetry, they loved art, they loved music, so I love poetry and art and music about them. And the author in the back of this, he's put English translations of all of the leaflets. Once you have a basic understanding of the story, there is nothing I would recommend more than reading the actual writing of the people you are researching. Oh my god. You want an idea for personalities and values and personal flaws as well. This is The Heart of the White Rose. These are the letters and diaries of Hans and Sophie Scholl. I believe this is the only English publication of the letters and diaries of any of the White Rose members. So read it. Another huge source, if you don't speak English, is the Center for White Rose Studies, which is out of America. The ladies here have done extremely in-depth and very fascinating work. You know what else they did? Is they translated all of the Gestapo interrogation transcripts into English. It's incredible. It used to be available online for free. I can no longer find it, but Exclamation Publishers is their publishing company. Under primary source materials, you can find everything. This is White Rose by Kip Wilson. It's recommended in almost every single comment section of White Rose videos I make, so people love it. This is a book from Sophie's perspective, written in verse. It is semi-fictional, but it's very insightful, very easy to read. Like I said, art and poetry and music about the White Rose, super amazing. You know what else is amazing? The Instagram account at Ich bin Sophie Scholl. This is basically what if Sophie Scholl had Instagram and she documented her entire journey with the White Rose through video. This is the most in-depth and detailed cinematic adaptation of the story you're gonna find. And it has English subtitles. And it's free. It's just Instagram. This book is not about the White Rose, it's about the project. This is another graphic novel. It's a German graphic novel. It's called Sophie Scholl. I don't think it's available in English. What's really interesting about this is that its main source was the letters from Sophie to her boyfriend who was fighting in Stalingrad. So the letters in this book are illustrated in this book, and it's beautiful. I love art. All of those create an excellent basis. I personally focus my research on Hans Scholl, Alexander Schmorl, and Sophie Scholl. Sophie, super easy to research in the States, ton of resources available about her. Hans and Alex, almost nothing. So the next couple of resources are German. I don't speak fluent German. We're trying to learn, we're working on it, we're just not getting far. So what I do is I will order a book and I will retype that book into a translation app and then I will read the book that way. Anyway, the best biography on Hans Scholl is Flamme sein. That means be the flame. In my opinion, I find Hans Scholl to be one of the most interesting historical figures ever. He was complicated. This book does an awesome job at kind of going through everything. And the author found Hans's poems because Hans wrote poetry and he published them in the book, along with some essays and other writing, and it's amazing. And this is my favorite thing ever. This is a book I got in Germany. It's called Memories of Alexander Schmorl, and to me, the most incredible thing in the entire world is pictures. I have scoured the internet. I have scoured books to find literally every single picture of the members of the White Rose that I can. And then I opened this book, and there were like dozens of photos that I've never seen before. Absolute heaven. But then it gets better, because the one thing I love more than pictures is to see the handwriting of somebody who I study. And they have Alexander Schmorl's, these are his stenographs. So it's copies from other books. And it's all in his handwriting. They have photocopies of all of it. It's amazing. This is actually my favorite thing. There you go. Translations. I also keep this with my books. This is my CDs of Shoal, The Bud of the White Rose. This was a really freaking good musical. It was released last year. Instead of covering the whole 2 years that the White Rose was active, or even just the 9 months that Sophie was in Munich, this hones in on a very specific moment, the new year of between 1941 and 1942, that Hans took his girlfriend to the mountains. And I love it because it focuses on Alex and Hans's relationship, which is what I focus on. The musical is available to stream on iTunes and Spotify and anywhere else, I think. But if you buy the CDs, you get this little packet. This has a full summary of the plot and all of the lyrics, so if you don't speak fluent German and sometimes you're like, hey, what did they say there? You can figure it out. But if you listen to this and you speak English and you want to know what's going on, literally just message me. I'd be happy to tell you. Also, some of these songs are written by Hans Scholl. They're taken directly from his poetry in Flamazine. So the words from that book are used in this musical, and it's amazing! And of course, I love getting questions about The White Rose. If you have questions, ask me, I will answer them. I met somebody who was writing a musical and they wanted to know how to costume Sophie Scholl, and I had a really fun conversation with them. This is my favorite thing to talk about, and I will happily talk about it more.